welcome to Gamers.
On the show today, we'll be reviewing games from Tony, Tiger, and loads of other games.
Tiger?
No, Tony and Tiger. Tony Hawk and Tiger Woods. Okay, so as I was saying, we are going to be reviewing
But now you come to mention it, I think that a Tony the Tiger game could be really good.
That's a rubbish idea.
No, it could be cool. He could be running around catching all sorts of different types of cereal and having all sorts of different types of adventures.
What?
It would be great.
Here's what's coming up.
Coming up on this week's Gamers, kick a ball down the road to FIFA World Cup, skate the American wasteland with Tony Hawk, get slammed by our favourite green monster Shrek, and Tiger Woods brings us his PGA Tour 2006.
2006 is a football year, obviously, with the World Cup happening in Germany. Can't
Oh
wait,
yes,
Kate.
Joy!
Are you excited about it? Yes! Are you sure? No, obviously she's not. Of course, we've reviewed loads of football games in the past few months, but this is the latest one. It's the first of the next-gen ones. It's FIFA 06 Road to the World Cup. They've done this a few times, actually, Electronic Arts. They brought out a football game, which is very similar to the last game, obviously FIFA 2006. But they tweak it. They have less players, less teams, and it's all about making your way to the World Cup finals, go for the qualifying stages, and eventually playing in Germany, hopefully winning the final, raising that trophy and going crazy.
Now be careful, Matt, because you're really selling it to me and I don't want to peek too soon.
Okay, you're not going to peak, unfortunately, with this game, because to be honest, it's not actually a very good football game at all.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, unfortunately, football games are the one genre of game I just cannot get to grips with, unfortunately.
Well, what they've done here, they've obviously thought, oh, it's a next-gen console, let's make it look really good. So they've made the blades of grass about 6 inches long, just to go, oh, look at the grass we can do, which is like, well, you don't need to be able to concentrate on that.
Grass is not always greener, though.
No, indeed. Not
No
in this
EA.
game, anyway. What they've also done is that with the players, right, they've made them look a lot more detailed. Their mouths move now, you know, when they're just standing in the line-up and stuff. But because they're even more detailed, some of them look quite good. Some of them look like zombies. They're scary.
Why is Beckham a ginger?
And Beckham's a ginger.
Sorry.
I don't know why. Maybe it's a future hairstyle.
It's the descriptive term.
A ginger.
Why is he a ginger in this game?
I think you'll find it's a strawberry blonde.
Oh, strawberry blonde.
Some of them,
or maybe
though.
even auburn.
Indeed. A little bit older than yourself. Some of them, though, they even look like they've been dipped in wax. Have you seen House of Wax? Right, the lighting on this, they've got shiny faces, and they haven't even started the game yet, so it's not sweat. The game itself, it's very difficult to score. What they've thought, obviously, is, what made Pro Evo good? I know, it's difficult to score goals, so let's make you not able to score any. The AI is really unfair as well. The artificial intelligence of the other players, they will just cane you. They'll run past you, and then the ball physics is even worse.
Oh, I hate the ball physics.
Oh, when the ball physics goes wrong.
That really does my head in.
That's your sarcasm, isn't it? But literally, if they kick the ball, sometimes it goes like a bullet from a gun. Other times it sort of loops really stupidly over stuff. So I'm not impressed at all. It's okay multiplayer. It's got some online modes, but really, I think you can play FIFA 2006 on the old consoles. Look forward to the next official next-gen game. I'm sure it's going to be a lot better. I'm going to give this a disappointing 3 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. That's obviously, I'm very biased because I don't really like football, but also I completely agree. I absolutely hate it when somebody brings out something and it's not really value for money. Now, moving on, this week I've been checking out one of the Xbox 360 launch titles, Cameo. Now, before you ask, no, this has nothing to do with an 80s funk band dancing around in codpiece. They haven't managed to make a game out of that.
Word up.
No, it is in fact the very lovely Cameo Elements of Power. Now, this comes to us from Rare. You may remember that this was a title that was released on GameCube, and then they transferred that over to Xbox full stop, and now they've transferred it over again to Xbox 360. Managed to get that one out if you're still with us. Now, because of this, it is very colourful. It does look very good if I just kind of switches on here.
It does look fantastic.
It does look fantastic. It is so bright, but in some of the textures that are a little bit more simple, it just seems that they've kind of been a bit lazy and done a bit of kind of cutting and pasting.
So
really.
it does feel like they just have ported
it
over.
does look a little bit kind of dull in some places, which I think is a little bit lazy of them. It's very simple, the game. You are Cameo, who's this kind of pixie fairy kind of a girl. She's very sweet indeed, and she doesn't have very much about her. She's trying to rescue her family from a group of bad trolls, and basically she's got wings, she's got a cartwheel kick, and that's about it from her.
But she can transform, can't she?
She can. Now, this is where the game does get really good. There's all sorts of different characters, like a Yeti, this thing which is like a steel bulldozer. that kind of makes
That
sense.
makes sense.
And you can transfer the characters really quickly. So it is kind of an awful lot of it is kind of just detective work, which character is going to be best for which job. But again, sometimes I find brute force and just being quite aggressive gets you through pretty much everything.
When
It's not
fighting
really,
things.
yeah, it's not really kind of use your brain kind of stuff. I do really like it, but I wanted a bit more kind of, I suppose, mystery, and it's just kind of.
It's a bit of a disappointment from Rare, to be honest.
is.
They've given us some great stuff, and again, it's because it's a launch title for the Xbox 360. I'm sure they will do better in the
It
future.
is. What I would say is because of that, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 and advise that you perhaps play it on the GameCube before investing £44.99.
I say, it looks a bit nicer. I'm going to give it, what, you gave it a 6? I'm going to give it a 5. Start of the year, the games industry goes a bit quiet, it all gets a bit quiet, so we're looking at a couple of games you may not have played last year, or stuff that we missed as well. One of them being Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. Now this is the next in the long line of games. There's been so many, I think there's been 6 or 7 now. Loads, absolutely loads. This one moves away from Tony Hawk's Underground 2, which became like Jackass, the TV programme, but with a skateboard.
Quite cult.
Quite cult, but quite silly at the same time. And it's gone back to the roots a bit. You play a sort of a country bumpkin skater. So you just come
What are
down,
you trying to say?
come down from Dorset. Well, no, obviously not. You're in America. But you end up going to LA. And what? What?
Nothing.
And so you go to LA and you get kitted out with new clothes. You're told, hey man, you're not cool to live in Hollywood. And then you get new clothes, new gear, new hair. And then you've got to make a skate park, which you call American Wasteland. It's all about going around collecting the new skate park parts. The problem with this game is that the actual story mode, again, with Cameo, is all holding your hand all the way through. This does the same thing.
Right.
All the way through, you've got, if you played Tony Hawk before, you know how to kickflip, you know how to grind, you know how to do manuals. This tells you how to do it all over again, so you've got to impress all these guys that are standing about going, hey dude, show me how to do that upper ramp and I'll give you some money. And then you do that, and then you've got to move on. And they lied in the advert as well, they said there's no loading screens. Technically they're right, okay, but this isn't like playing Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
And we all know
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto is great. When you go from place to place, you either skate through tunnels while they load it in the background, or you drive a car.
Oh, that's a bit naughty, isn't it?
It's cheating, basically, isn't
a bit
it? Complete
naughty.
cheating. Luckily, they've got a classic mode in here as well, which die-hard gamers will want to play. That's modes where you've got to pull off a certain amount of tricks in a certain amount of time. There's a lot of pressure to do it, which is a bit more difficult. And you've got some great two-player modes, including a co-op mode for the first time as well. So you
Is that like where you can get your bread and milk and stuff?
yeah, it's good actually. You can pop down there, so it's cheap as well. So check it out. No, obviously it's not. It's actually where you get to together do stuff like spell out a certain amount of words by collecting them. So if you have trouble doing it by yourself, get a mate along who's much better.
You're telling us it's a bit educational as well.
Yes, it is. Sort of. What, you learn to spell the word horse.
I don't know.
It's a 5-letter word, Kate, but yeah, I'm sure you'll manage it one day.
I think so, hopefully.
Right, I've got to give it a score for this. I'm going to give it. It's all right. If you like Tony Hawk, you're gonna like it. I'm going to give it a 5. Pretty average now.
I'm going to give it a very average 5 as well. I do think there is quite some good things in it as well, but I personally take ages to get the tricks in the first place. So I'm a bit gutted you're saying, I don't want my hand held all the way through it because I need it.
Man.
Oh, bless you. Anyway, moving on to even a more kind of sporty, if you could call skateboarding a sport.
I'd call it a game.
Yeah, well, you could. I've been looking at Tiger Woods for the Xbox 360. Now, we've seen this now on all sorts of different platforms, haven't we? We've seen it on PS2, we've seen it on PSP, we've seen it on DS.
Everything.
Everybody seems to love the Tiger Woods games. Now, they've tried to bring this out on Xbox 360. It was one of the first titles that they released for it, in fact. And I think I would describe this as a bowl of party nuts until you can get to the main event. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sort of like, are these nuts that gentlemen have washed their hands before eating or after? Not at all.
Before, yes.
That wasn't the question, really,
It's good and it does look fantastic, but Tiger Woods series has got a great, it's got a great reputation, really, doesn't it?
Fantastic reputation, I love it.
And so for this, when I put this in, I was really expecting great things, and it does look fantastic, but for me, it just hasn't quite delivered what it promised.
To me, it was like Tiger Woods light. Like, you start off with only one course, you've got Pebble Beach, and then you've got to unlock everything. And
Yeah.
if you want to play the other modes, you've got to unlock them in the main mode to be able to actually
Yeah, you
get
have to
anywhere.
play them in career mode, but there are 72 levels of Q School.
Oh,
which can get a little bit tedious after a
Is
while.
that like closest to the pin and longest
Yeah,
cuts
it just
and all that
goes
stuff?
on and on and on, and it does start to look quite samey after a while, which is, again, not such a good thing.
And also for the Xbox 360, what I found is it does look nice, but again, they could have done more with it. There's not much atmosphere, you know. You don't get. I mean, the rough just doesn't look as rough as it could look. Okay, the player models are great. There's more trees. Great, save the trees. There's loads in here. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't look much nicer. The water's lovely though. I'll tell you what, if you want to go for a swim, have a look. It looks like the sort of stuff you'd see in a tech demo. Go, look how good we can do water. It's really good.
It does. There's a
means
lot of
anything to
things
you?
about this, but essentially, I mean, I think that this is something that we've just said throughout the whole episode of the show is it's a game which they brought out and they've tried to rehash it for another gaming platform, and it just doesn't deliver what you're expecting.
But Tiger does look like the man. He looks real in that, doesn't he? That's a good thing.
He does. I mean, that's something which is amazing about all this, you know, obviously having the high def. It's incredible. He does look so like the real thing. But is he as good? Not when I play him. So I liked it. I'm going to give it a 6.
Do you know what? I'm going to give it. I'm feeling stingy today. I'm going to give it a 5. I'll tell you what, straight down the middle again, because I love Tiger Woods. But this, you're better off getting Tiger Woods 2006 for the other consoles, because this is like a cut down version. And who wants that?
I know we keep on saying, pinch your pennies.
Yeah, don't spend anything. That's what I say. Absolutely. Right, it's almost the end of part 1.
But wouldn't it be nice before the break if we gave one of our lovely viewers out there the chance to win a console?
We could do that. Yes.
Here's the details of this week's Gamers Competition.
On this week's Gamers Competition, we're giving one lucky viewer the chance to win an Xbox and 3 games: Halo 2, Sudeki and Rally Sport 2. To give him the chance of winning, just answer this simple question.
Explanation,
To
but
tell
we
you-
just get that it's Sly, you know, the
He's a
same.
bit
Yeah.
sly, exactly. Now the thing about this game is it hasn't been very popular ever, really. They're very good games, but they just haven't sold well, and because it's a Sony first-party title, you'd think they'd have really pushed it, but they haven't been. And these games are honestly as good as any Ratchet and Clank or what's the other one? I always forget. Jack and Daxter type game. Really good platform game. In this one, you play Sly again and his friend Bentley, who's a turtle. He's now in a wheelchair because he had an unfortunate little accident in the last game. And Murray the hippo as well, who blamed himself for the accident, went off to Australia and ended up sort of being a sort of Buddhist in a sort of temple
That
with
sounds
an
like a very
Aborigine.
spiritual type of
Doesn't it?
background
It
to
does,
the
doesn't
characters
it?
of a game.
It's good, isn't it? It's very good. Very detailed, this. So what's happened is some evil guy, he's captured your vault full of all your bounty, as it were, and he's sort of put it in a big cage and then put a fortress around it. You've got to break into that fortune and get all your wealth back.
Sounds pretty simple.
It does sound pretty simple, and it's very similar to the previous game. So there's a lot of sneaking about. You get to walk on tight ropes, jump about everywhere, and all your different characters have different abilities. So when you're Bentley in his wheelchair, he's got little boosters on him. He can boost around, he can hop from side to side. He's quite sweet, really.
That's really funny, but in a kind of slightly...
Well, there was Ironside, wasn't there? You know, the guy, the detective, he was in a wheelchair. He was quite good. And now you've got Bentley.
He had the laugh though because he's got boosters on his wheelchair.
He's got boosters, exactly. He'd definitely win in some Paralympic event. It'd be cheating, I'm sure. It'd be the same as steroids, wouldn't it?
I think it would be. It's interesting, they do remind me, the characters, of the raccoons.
They
Remember,
are very
as in
similar.
Bert Raccoon.
Go on then.
That is till Bert Raccoon wakes up. Na, 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 na. You either get it or you...
There's some good mini games in this as well. So after you've done all the walking about, if you think, oh, I've done too much walking about and Robin today, there's a bit of flying, there's other little missions within there as well. So even when you've actually completed the game, there's like an extra hard mode. They're like mega missions. They're not called that, they're called something similar, where you
Dead
can actually
hard.
go back. Really tough stuff, where you can actually play again against a time limit, or it's even harder. Great value for money. You're going to get about 15 to 20 hours of gameplay out of this.
That's good, isn't it?
It's very good. You can go back and play it. You can play as a different characters. It's got some little throwaway two-player modes in there as well for multiplayer. This is one stonker of a game. If you haven't played a raccoon game, a Sly Raccoon game, give this one a go. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Yes, a game we like.
Yes! I'm going to give it a 7. I did thoroughly enjoy it. He's got an awfully big tail, doesn't he?
Where's a raccoon?
Now, I was stupidly excited when I got this game to do this week. It is Ratchet Gladiator. Now, what I do not understand, I find it completely incomprehensible, how obviously many of the Ratchet and Clank games before have been extremely successful and very enjoyable. Why would you take a winning formula like that and completely mess it up?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
why would you do that? With this one, it just completely does not cut the mustard. That's exactly what they've done here. Now, first of all, which is a little bit confusing, is it's Ratchet Gladiator, so obviously you instantly presume that Clank is going to be around. Clank is obviously not in favour anymore because he's been kicked to the curb. Hardly appears in this game at
He's
all.
in a couple of cutscenes, isn't he? It's like a dream sequence.
That's it. That's your lot. Talking of the cut sequences, they go on for absolutely ages. And literally, you have to watch them for about 2 minutes. And then it comes back and it says, walk 50 steps. And we'll give you another 2-minute cutscene.
That's not very good.
No, it's not very good.
Surely they get less frequent as the game goes on.
You'd have thought so. Now, this game, it focuses on the gunplay of what has been in previous games and is very arena-based.
So it's all about, it's like being a gladiator, basically.
Pretty much, as the title.
I think
Gladiator
Russell Crowe,
would.
apart from you're a big cat with big ears.
I did enjoy it. It just, for me, it was completely disappointing because I was expecting so much because I really enjoyed the Ratchet and Clank series.
It does get a little bit more ratchet and clanky. That's an adjective, isn't it? Describing word. As you get on with the game, it does get more ratchet and clanky as you move on. But it does start off very combat heavy. I mean, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is fun, but like I said, for me, the good thing about it is that there are all sorts of different weapons that you can use. I think up to 10 weapons, which you can swap around quite easily.
Cool.
And that does kind of make up for it a little bit more because it's quite entertaining. But other than that, I'm going to give it a 6.
6, okay. I did actually quite like it. It was all right. I mean, it looks like a bit of a filler game. I'm going to give it a 6 as well. So it's above average, but you know, not considering today, I think that's a good score for us.
We'll
don't
give
you?
it a C+. Can try, do better.
Yes, indeed.
Must try harder.
See me in red pen. Right, on to another game, which is one of the most atmospheric, if I can actually spit the word out, on the Xbox 360, Condemned. Now, it doesn't sound very cheery, does it, really?
And it's not very cheery, but I know that you are not so hot on this. I absolutely love this game.
It's very atmospheric.
It's quite like the Blair Witch Project, I think. Kind of Silence of the Lambs-y kind of thing, although it's probably better if you watch it with lights off, although I didn't kind of feel very comfortable sitting in a room with no lights on with Matt watching this game.
That's all right, Kate, don't worry. It's all fine. What I liked about it is, yeah, it's very much like 7. You're an FBI agent. You're going to investigate some crimes. You've got a gun. There's obviously some people still in the building with you. Then you get smacked around the head, and your gun gets taken away. So, yeah, I've got a gun. I'll be fine. No. You've got to play the rest of the game with pipes, pickaxes, bits of wood with nails stuck in it, and hit people over the head. Basically.
It's all very civilised.
All very civilised. It's what I like to call melee combat in the gaming world. You also have to. This is the problem with it. Okay, it's very atmospheric. It's all torchlight. The combat's really good, but it is repetitive. Sooner or later, you think, hang on, are there any actual proper puzzles to do? No. Backtrack into a dark room you've been to, pick up a pickaxe and use that to open a door, and then do that ad infinitum until the end of the game.
You do persevere, yeah, I do understand what you're saying there, but something else that I think is good about it is if you like things like CSI Miami and series like that, which I really enjoy, there's all sorts of different gadgets, so you can pick up like this thermometer and find out exactly what the temperature is, a bit eerie, or look at fingerprints and...
You can. There's a smellometer as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
That you can do, which is odd. But it does look fantastic. But again, just going back to the... I mean, look at this. Look at the massive 18 sticker, right? I'm over 18 years of age, and if you're over 18, weirdly enough, yes, but not mentally. And if you go into and buy this, you think, great, I'm over 18. That means I'll be challenged a bit. That's the problem. It's not. The puzzles in it do not pander to an over 18 audience. They are something that a child could easily do. Which,
But what in terms of the scare factor?
It will scare the pants off you. If you've got bicycle clips, wear them. Or if you have children, borrow their nappies. Or just play it naked in the bath. Just do not put your power supply in there because you might electrocute yourself. And that wouldn't be good mixed with this game because it is genuinely very scary. So great for atmosphere. It's not going to take you too long to complete. So it's probably worth a weekend rent, I'd say, or borrow it off a mate. Yeah, fun, good.
What are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it, just because of the whole, not deep enough for me, I'm afraid. I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6. It's good, okay? It's better than average, really atmospheric.
I'm going to give it an 8 and be controversial because I really enjoyed having the pants scared off me, and I find it so much more scary than something like a horror film because, of course, when you're sitting there watching it in your own house, all that it needs is for like the front door to go or something, and you know.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that infects your
And that's
dreams.
you.
This it does. It disturb you when you're not even playing the game.
Moving on now to something not so scary, in fact probably for something for a younger audience. It's Shrek Super Slam. Now I did really enjoy this. You can expect to see all the characters that you would think that you might see off the Shrek movie, and also some unlockable characters as well, which is very enjoyable. Most of the gameplay depends upon short 2 minute, get my teeth in, battles where you have to slam your opponent as many times as you possibly can.
So it's basically like kicking 7 shades out of each other, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is. Now, when you do this, basically you have to kind of rank up your gauge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. In fact, I think we've got wrong
you.
controller here. That's better. Otherwise,
you.
I'm going to lose.
And doing that, basically, once your gauge is full, you can then slam your opponent in a very special and sometimes amusing way. Because you've got all sorts of different characters there, like Boost and Shrek and all that kind of stuff.
And Donkey.
And once he does his actual slam, so you've got Shrek who will fart you today.
That sounds like members of my family.
You've got Boost who will like do his, cute kitty thing with his big eyes and then kind of knock you for 6. So it's kind of working your way all the way through the characters just to see the kind of comedy in that.
I hate Shrek. Sorry, Kate, to put down on things. I don't find Shrek at all funny, and maybe I've lost a funny bone in my body, but I'm more of a Toy Story fan, so can you please make a game with Woody and Buzz Lightyear beating each other up? I'd find that much more fun. And Mr. Potato Head, you could put his lips off. It'd be great. That.
Oh, now
Like
there's
Pete Burns.
something though that is good about this game though is, if you remember, something that was fantastic about the film was of course the great voice characters. They haven't managed to get Cameron Diaz and Eddie Murphy in to do this, but the sound-alikes are really good.
Mike Myers, he's not in it either.
No, but they do sound very similar.
I'm Mike Myers, I can do a great Scottish accent in all my films. Want to hear it? Oh. Do you want to give it a rating? Sorry, I forgot your Scottish roots.
I'll give it a 6.
Okay, I didn't like it at all. I'm going to give it a 4. Sorry about that.
Misery guts.
Are you alright? Have I upset you?
No.
Very good. Right, that's almost it for the show. But first, have an opportunity to win something.
On this week's Gamers competition, we're giving one lucky viewer the chance to win an Xbox and 3 games: Halo 2, Sudeki and Rally Sport 2. To win the chance of winning, just answer this simple question. Who is the central character in the Halo series? Is it A, Master Chief, B, Master Chef, or C, Ready Steady Cook? Just text GAMER followed by your answer, A, B or C, to 63222. Good luck.
So this week's Gamers Game of the Week is...
Have you been on the Sprouts again, Kate?
Sly 3. Yes, we loved that one. Just for the trip down memory lane it gave us.
It did give us a good
Yeah,
trip
it
down
did.
memory
Memory
lane.
lane.
Good. And Condemned came and close second, and it beat all the Xbox 360 games you've got, which is good. We like that, don't we? Now, don't forget, there are forums, of course, and on our retro games and stuff you want to see on the show. So if you want to drop us a line and give us any suggestions, or just have a chat with other gamers, log on to their website. The address is below. We'll be back with you guys next week.
See you next time.